Sup, dudes? I'm Nate Heater.
And I'm Frank Lamontia.
And we are the Sup Dudes. We know it's been a while, but we are here in a car in a parking lot at a movie theater. You know what I mean? Say it with me, everybody. Movie review time. Woo! And it's only fitting that a fat man and a, well, not so little boy go and watch a movie called Oppenheimer.
That was good.
Someone didn't want to do Barbenheimer, so we just settled with the Heimer part of Barbenheimer. So, not much to really say about the movie. It's about Robert J. Oppenheimer and him before, during, and after the bomb explosion.
Yep.
So this is a star-studded cast.
Yes.
It stars Cillian Murphy as Robert J. Oppenheimer himself.
Yeah. You may know him from Peaky Blinders.
We also stars Florence Pugh. You may know her from our previous review in Black Widow. Then we have Robert Downey Jr., a.k.a. Mr. Iron Man himself, Tony Stark.
Mr. Iron Man, okay.
Yeah, Mr. Iron Man himself, Tony Stark. We got Emily Blunt. We've talked about her in A Quiet Place Part 2. She was also in A Quiet Place Part 1. And many others.
So we didn't review that one.
No.
Okay.
We also have Mr. Freddie Mercury himself, Rami Malek.
Yes.
You know him from other stuff like Mr. Robot, but to us, he's Freddie. You got Mr. Josh Peck. He's a Nickelodeon star, so I have to throw him in for the younger crowd that we have. Mr. Jack Quaid.
We have a crowd?
Yeah, somewhat. Mr. Jack Quaid, starring in the movie as well. Then we got Jason Bourne himself, Matt Damon. He's not Jason Bourne in the movie, obviously, but just wanted, for those of you that know who Matt Damon is.
Yes.
And, can't forget about Mr. Harry Truman in the movie himself, Gary Oldman.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him right away.
Can't forget about Ben Affleck's younger brother, Casey Affleck.
Who?
Exactly. And the funny one that I pointed out to, it actually has Gustav Skarsgård in here.
Oh,
Not
wow.
Bill, unfortunately. Although I think they may have wasted a lot of their money if they had Bill in there as well, too.
Mm.
And it also has Alex Wolff. Now, that may not be a name that you remember, but if you go back to our movie about Old, the M. Night Shyamalan movie, we mentioned him in there.
We do?
Yeah. So basically, this is our second movie with him in it, and we can say, a lot better, Alex. Good job.
You forgot Matthew Modine.
Thank you. Matthew Modine.
Matthew Modine is in it, too.
All right.
Now, they don't all have huge parts or
No.
anything, but they're,
You see him.
you see them. And they have interesting parts.
So,
Important parts.
let's get into the movie, goods and bads. Frank, start it off. It was your idea to go see this movie.
Yes, and this may have been a mistake. Okay. I like the subject matter.
Oh, by the way, I want to say, directed by Christopher Nolan, so you know it's a good movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, the direction was very good. I gotta say that. A lot of interesting concepts in the movie. The way they do certain things. Obviously, you're gonna have a nuclear explosion at some point, and the way they handle it was really cool.
Yep.
But there was a lot of lead-in to that, and then a lot of stuff after that, because this wasn't about just the development of the bomb and the bomb itself. This was about Oppenheimer, obviously, but it was about his background and
the events leading up to the bomb?
Well, the events leading up to it, and also what happened to him afterwards.
Repercussions.
Repercussions. Okay. So, I don't want to say too much, because in case you don't really know, which I didn't really know too much about that part either, but I would just say it took a little while to get going, and once it got going, it didn't really go that fast either, and a lot of interesting information. It was really like a long documentary to me, and most documentaries, while they may be interesting, they're kind of boring, and so this was on that level. But at least, since it wasn't a true documentary and it was a drama, there was a little more interesting stuff happening because of the acting and the overall cinematic stuff that they do. That was pretty cool. And got a little surreal a couple of times, which bothered me. That usually bothers me. Even with a great TV series like The Sopranos, when it got surrealistic, it was annoying. But anyway, Yeah, I don't do well with surreal stuff. I like just give me the facts, you know. And anyway, that's it.
All right, I'll try to keep us going on pace to make this review shorter than the movie was itself. So,
3 hours.
Yes, I will say I agree with a lot of what Frank said. Like mostly about the direction, though. I will say the direction was really well done. The cinematography was really well done. All that stuff. No fight scenes though, so I'm kind of sad about that. Unless you count internal conflict.
It's not an action movie.
Yeah, there was some action. The bomb exploding.
Well,
I will say I did like the bomb explosion. How they like played that up.
Yeah,
that was
cool.
Nice. So, but I actually was taking notes during the movie. I know you're not supposed to have your phone out during a movie, but with a 3-hour long movie, I was gonna forget stuff right away. So I wanted to make some notes right away. So if I'm looking down at my phone, I apologize. First thing I have is too long. Not even joking. First thing I have, too long.
Yeah.
It's a 3-hour long movie now. I know people are like, oh, it's just the younger generation. They'll have short attention spans. There were so many scenes they could have just cut out. There were so many shots they could have cut out, or they could have just done something differently to make it less than 3 hours long.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that movie did not need to be 3 hours long. You could have got the story across in like 2.5.
And a lot of the scenes could have been shorter themselves.
Absolutely. Next thing I have is there was too many, I call them symbolism shots because I couldn't think of a right word. Because it was like a montage in the beginning that it was just like him looking at something and then like looking at a painting and then like a picture of like something with like star. I'm just like,
yeah,
that was weird.
I'm not sure what was going on there.
No,
actually.
That was just the Christopher Nolan direction that didn't go well.
Whatever they were trying to do didn't work on me.
No, I call that symbolism because I feel so that's what they were trying to go for with symbolism. I did have in here that I was wondering why it went from black and white to color all the time, that it was a distraction. Looked it up, actually. It's because of Robert Downey Jr.'s character is more, like, straight to the point and, like, he sees in, like, one direction kind of a thing. So his view on everything was black and white. Whereas Oppenheimer's view, and, oh, by the way, Robert Downey Jr., whenever they showed him on camera talking about something, when it was, like, him talking, that's when it was black and white, if I didn't make myself clear about that. But when they would show Oppenheimer and his point of view, it was all colored because that's the way his mind was thinking. His mind was all over the place, that his thoughts and his, I don't want to say imagination, but his mind could not be controlled in black and white. Like, it had to have the full range. So once I read that, I did it when I was in the bathroom break. Once I read that, I wanted to cross that off, but I wanted to mention that in there too. So if you get confused as to why it goes black and white in color, there you go. For like the 3 people that watch our videos. Next was, it seemed like everybody was talking the same exact way throughout the movie. Now I understand they're all like the same kind of colleagues, but it just felt like they all fit like the same rhythm. They were all like, it was like as soon as someone finished, someone else picked it up right away. There wasn't much like...
Well, I'm glad they did, otherwise it would have been longer.
Yeah. It didn't just seem like there was a lot of like difference in the voices. So that threw me off and it was really weird. We got a car pulling up next to us, whatever. Oh, and the last thing I have in here was a weird sex scene. You know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I won't get too much into it. Go watch it.
Basically 2 sex scenes, but one was a little surreal again. All right, so.
Ratings? Go for it.
I don't want to hate it, but I don't want to give it too high either. I think I'm going to just give it a 6. This is something that could be watched on TV, streaming. You don't need a big screen for this. Maybe for the explosion part, but that's about it. I think they went a little too long, tried to do too much. That wasn't necessary. Then again, that's my humble opinion. If you're a historical buff, is that right?
Yeah.
You might disagree with me and find it a lot more interesting, but it was too long for too little impact.
I just know the Academy is going to eat this up when they go for the Oscars and everything like that.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
I'm going to give it a 6.5. Only because I was trying to think of a number and I was trying to go back and forth between 6 and 7 for a while for like what I want to give it. So I was like, just split the difference, 6.5. So average score, you know what it is by now. If you do math, it's right there on the screen. Do you recommend this movie? Do we recommend this movie? On a big screen, maybe if there's nothing else you're really interested in, go for it, because especially with the nuclear explosion, you want to see it on a bigger screen.
Yeah, that's worth the screen.
But other than that, if you're willing to sit through the other 2 hours and 55 minutes worth of nonsense, no.
I think it'd be better like on a streaming thing, because this way you can pause it, digest it, go back to it.
Yeah.
Things like that.
All right. Well, like I said, it's been a while, and good to be back. So with that being said, I'm Nate Heater.
And I'm Frank Lamontia.
And we are the Sup Dudes. So long.
And we hope to see you soon.
I'm so out of tune. I did my salute a little too early.
Come back with a big bang.
Oh, God.